The ocean is a mighty teacher, teaching us patience, persistence, and the power of nature. Little wonder seafarers require specialized skills in navigation, ship handling, and emergency response. Welcome to another exciting episode of Nimasa This Week, the maritime program that keeps viewers informed of the latest developments in the maritime industry. I remain your uncle, Moyioluwa Olutayo. Come join us, let's sail together.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
The program is Nimasa This Week. Once again, you are welcome. Our first port of call today is the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. The Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Dayo Mubiriola, on Friday, July 4, 2025, visited the Snake Island, Lagos, to inspect the ongoing maintenance work on the DB Lagos vessel. The inspection took place at the Niger Dockyard, where the vessel is currently being repaired. The DB Lagos is a special mission vessel used for maritime surveillance and national security. Stay tuned on the program. I'll be right back.
As part of its commitment to promoting local shipbuilding and repair by Nigerian companies, the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dr. Dayo Mubiriola, recently undertook an inspection visit to Niger Dock, located within the Snake Island Integrated Free Zone in Lagos. The visit was to assess ongoing maintenance work on the DB Lagos, a special mission vessel under the Deep Blue project. Speaking to the media at the end of his visit, Dr. Mubiriola expressed satisfaction with the quality of maintenance work at the Niger Dock facility. He noted that the indigenous effort demonstrated Nigeria's growing capacity for advanced ship repairs and construction.
What I'm seeing here today by the Niger Dockyard is a testimony of the fact that we have the capacity and we have the ability to actually repair and to some extent, I'm sure, to also build vessels here in Nigeria. And it's a good fact that we, Nimasa, through the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, have also come to testify to that by bringing in our own vessel for it to be repaired. And what I've seen so far, the progress of the work is very good and a good one, which we are very happy with.
He further emphasized that the inspection aligns with the vision of the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, who has made the development of local capacity in shipbuilding and repairs a top priority.
I came here to observe the realization of the vision of the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola's dream of wanting to localize and develop maritime community, including shipyard, ship repairs, and ensuring that we have the capacity and ability and capability to do everything within the country, Nigeria.
The DB Lagos is one of the special mission vessels used for maritime surveillance and national security operations as part of the Integrated National Security and Waterways Protection Infrastructure, otherwise known as the Deep Blue Project. Alongside its sister vessel, DB Abuja, and other key assets, it plays a vital role in combating oil theft, smuggling, illegal immigration, and other maritime crimes within Nigerian waters.
Welcome back. Global medical practices for seafarers prioritize prevention, preparedness, and access to quality health care. The Health Services and Environment Unit of Nimasa recently organized a workshop on the medical certification of seafarers. The workshop was aimed at positioning stakeholders to align with global best practices on the medical certification of seafarers. Stay tuned on the program. I'll be right back.
In line with its commitment to promoting a healthy and vibrant working life for Nigerian seafarers, the Health Services Unit of the agency recently held a Seafarers Medical Certification Workshop in Lagos. The event, which drew participation from the agency's management and representatives of hospitals, clinics, and medical centers involved in seafarers' medical certification, was organized to update stakeholders on Nimasa's ongoing process harmonization initiatives. The welcome address was delivered by the Deputy Director of Human Resources, Mr. Kunle Odeleye, who spoke on the importance of a healthy seafaring workforce to the overall effectiveness of the maritime industry.
A healthy, vibrant, and forward-looking seafarers workforce is central to an effective and economically impactful maritime industry. The Nigerian maritime industry, ably driven by the Ministry of Blue Economy and Nimasa, has been in the news for good reasons lately, receiving global acclaim for safety and turnaround time for vessels by multiple international organizations. I am convinced that our carefully selected resource person will not only shed much needed light into the vital needs to sustain and build upon the gains of our well-structured seafarers medical certification program, but will help draw our attention as operators of the scheme to shun all forms of negative attitude that have the potential to compromise the health of our seafarers and thereby reduce to the barest minimum incident of avoidable onboard severe illness and fatalities.
Presentations were also delivered by Dr. Israel Irezindu, the CEO of Corporate and Industrial Medical Services, on enhancing seafarers' medical fitness standards, aligning with IMO and MLC 2006, and Dr. Obiageli Urai, Assistant Director Health Services, who spoke on quality assurance and records in seafarers' medical certification.
The seafarer is responsible for the safety of the vessel and safety of other crew members. The seafarer is responsible for the safety of the maritime environment, is responsible for the safety of the operation, be it cargo, be it oil and gas operation, whatever it is, it needs the human input for it to go on. The seafarer is also responsible partly for their own safety and their own well-being. And you have a role to play in making sure that this seafarer remains healthy. Meaning if something goes wrong with him, these other dimensions will be impacted.
Record keeping is an essential part of quality management system, and without our records being intact and our data and our documentation, then it affects the quality of everything. The seafarers fitness certification, how it's documented.
Certificates of participation were then presented to the various hospitals, clinics, and medical centers in attendance. With a focus on ensuring quality training delivery standards in Nigeria, the agency recently hosted a Maritime Training Institutes and Stakeholders meeting in Lagos to address compliance with the International Convention on standards of training, certification and watchkeeping for seafarers, the STCW. The welcome address was delivered by the head of Maritime Safety Seafarer Standards Division, Engineer Patrick Eyigbe, who stated that Nimasa is committed to creating an enabling environment for the maritime industry to thrive and contribute meaningfully to Nigeria's economic development.
In line with the federal government's vision for the blue economy, Nimasa is committed to fostering inclusivity and collaboration across all stakeholders. We recognize the importance of developing clear objectives and strategies to advance the industry, and we are dedicated to creating an enabling environment where maritime education can thrive.
On his part, the Executive Director Operations, Engineer Fatai Adeyemi, urged attendees to work towards ensuring that future generations of Nigerian seafarers thrive and uphold a legacy of maritime excellence.
We call on all MTIs, those accredited and those aspiring to be accredited, to recommit to excellence, invest in infrastructure, upgrade your training equipment, empower your instructor, and align your curriculum with the dynamic demand of the maritime industry at large. Compliance is not a favor to Nimasa. It is a duty to Nigerian youth who trust your institution with their future. It is a duty to our nation's reputations in global maritime sector.
The first presentation was on the STCW, delivered by Captain Ezekiel Adewale Ishola, a master mariner and chairman CEO of Dockyard Management Consultancy Services. This was followed by a presentation titled Insight on Quality Management System ISO 9001-2015 and the need to conduct an internal audit of the agency by officers of the Quality Assurance Unit. This was delivered by Engineer Hakeem Oderinde.
What is the purpose of STCW? To ensure uniform training standards, certification standards, and competency standards for seafarers worldwide, and to enhance safety, security, and environmental protection in maritime operations. Then to ensure the competency of our crew. A well-trained crew is a good ship to sail with.
In attendance at the event were the Executive Director Operations, Engineer Fatai Adeyemi, the Head of the Maritime Safety and Seafarer Standards Department, Engineer Patrick Eyigbe, the CEO of Dockyard Management Consultancy Services and Master Mariner, Captain Ezekiel Adewale Ishola, Commodore B.O. Onalo from the Nigerian Navy Ship Corps, NNS Corps, among other stakeholders.
Still on the program Nimasa this week, we move on to the Nautical Chat segment where we have with us in the studio as our guest today, Alhaji Aminu Umar, the President of Nigeria Chamber of Shipping. Femi, over to you.
Welcome to another edition of the Nimasa this week, particularly the nautical segments, where I'll be discussing with Alhaji Aminu Umar, the CEO of Stack Marine Limited. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Femi.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be discussing with you on issues about the shipping industry. There was clamor for the creation of the Marine and Blue Economy Ministry, right?
Yeah.
And it has been created already. So can you tell us, how has the shipping industry in Nigeria fared since the creation of this ministry?
Thank you again for having me, and it's always great to sit and talk with you and in this program. So that said, I will say, first of all, the industry has been so excited and very grateful to Mr. President for, carving out the marine and blue economy out of the entire transport ministry. And that gives us a lot of hope, because now we have a ministry that is focused on marine. What are all the policies and all what is needed to make sure that that sector is opportunities are tapped and the growth is being felt everywhere. So we are so excited.
Okay, so thank you. Now, so coming down to Nimasa, who is the driver of the maritime sector in Nigeria. Yeah. Now, how has Nimasa, contributed to the growth and development of the shipping industry in Nigeria? You are the stakeholders, so you are the ones to give us the marks. How have we fared?
Nimasa has been doing well in terms of making sure they implement the policies, they keep that standardization to make sure that every Nigerian ship owner that is there or operator that is operating within the industry is given the right support. So we have seen it in many aspects of their implementing those policies. So actually they have been very done well in many aspects. And likewise in the engagement, where we have a lot of engagement together with Nimasa to see what are the issues the operators have in the industry, and then we engage them and we have these conversations, and they come up with solutions and see if there is a way to rejig some of these policies, and sometimes to give some flexibility, because even though the laws are there, some policies, sometimes we need some flexibility, and they are always there to assist us, especially the DG and his team that are there today.
All right, very well, thank you, sir. Now, talking about blue economy, right? Yeah. You as the stakeholder, you are the ones, the drivers of the shipping industry too in Nigeria. Now, what are the opportunities in this blue economy sector? For the purpose of the layman out there, what are the opportunities in this blue economy?
You have to categorize it in maybe two. Let's classify them in two. One is the shipping aspect, which in the shipping or marine aspect, maritime aspect, is you have the shipping, you have the terminal operations, you have the logistics operators. So there are a lot of potentials there, okay, in the shipping side, which Nigeria is not participating that much. We are just a developing nation in this aspect. And this potential, there's a huge gap, let's put it this way, there's a huge gap where the Nigerians are needed to fill in, Nigerian investors. And one of the biggest challenge we used to have is issue of how to raise capital. And if you notice recently, this new administration, the ministry as well as Mr. President have now given the go-ahead for CVFF, which will come a long way in removing that challenge of capital raising. So with that, we believe a lot of investors will come in. Then secondly, the next one is where you have other aspect of marine potentials, like the fishery, like the deep sea mining, like tourism. So all these are coming within the marine and blue economy. But the biggest of all is the maritime side of it. And the biggest in the maritime is the shipping. So, and I believe now we are in the right way, because so far one of the biggest challenge for shipping is issue of raising capital. And now government is intervening with CVFF, which the government intend to commence the disbursement. We believe that will change the landscape.
All right, so aside raising capital in the industry, right, there's also the need for capacity building, right?
Yeah.
So what is the shipping industry doing to collaborate with Nimasa to build capacity in the industry so we can actually tap these potentials we're talking about?
Okay, great. One, like we said, by raising, having to raising capital, that problem is solved, which means that Nigerians will now acquire more ships. And if Nigerians acquire more ships, what do we need? We need to raise human capacity. Human capacity is the seafarers as well as the people that work in the office. The seafarers already, if you remember, Nimasa is intervening under their NSDP program, And what these young Nigerians that are coming out of colleges or institution will now have training, which is called sea on board training. So they will have their sea time training. And if they have the sea time training, that means we have this capacity. If this continue with this CVFF, able to get more ships, training more Nigerians, Nigerian youths going out to now become being exportable to work for other ship owners all over the world, it brings a lot of value into the country. So this is what we are looking forward to.
Okay, fine. Like you said, there are quite a number of resources in our oceans that can be tapped. The fisheries, maybe the aquaculture, tourism, and all that. We talk about potentials many times. Now, how do we fully harness these things? How does governments and the private sector come together to harness these resources so that we can also increase the GDP in Nigeria like other countries are doing?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, if you look at it again from the maritime side, how do you attract more investment in maritime? One is to create these sources of capital. Two is to create an environment where foreign investors come in to partner the Nigerians that are already there existing, Nigerian investors. If you look at one of the challenges before that make people a little bit worried about the environment is insecurity. But the Nimasa, together with federal government, have invested so much in the Deep Blue project, in a lot of projects that make sure that piracy that used to be in the Gulf of Guinea is almost gone now. We don't even hear it anymore. So particularly, we don't hear it in Nigerian waters at all. So which you hear it maybe in other countries, but not Nigeria. That opens up a lot of potential for investors now to come in. Secondly, on the other side of not maritime, that is blue economy that you can do, which is the aquaculture, the fishery, this. I believe now that also some of these are affected by the security that was there around the coastal waters of Nigeria. But now that is gone, investors will come in. Operators like us, who are also the investors in that in those aspects, we always also first of all look at what is if there is an instability in those areas. Now that we realize there is no instability in some of these areas, we will now look at how do we invest our funds? How do we now partner? How do we now see those opportunities? And this is something we do regularly, and we review it and see what are our next investment areas. And that's what we will continue doing.
Introducing the new face of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. We are charting the direction for a maritime and regulating the industry for a better, bigger, and more economically stable Nigeria. Evolved to serve you better. We are Nimasa. New face, rejuvenated service. Nimasa, changing the tides in your favor.
We finally come to the end of another exciting episode of the program Nimasa This Week. Thanks for watching. We appreciate all our esteemed viewers. But before I drop anchor, let me leave you with this quote by Aldous Huxley. The sea does not reward those who are too greedy, too anxious, or too impatient. Therefore, our advice: relax, breathe, let go, and live life. Until we meet again on the same platform, same time next week. Bye for now.